afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another exciting, innovating, and amazing, spectacular, wondrous Propagandacast from your host from Pearl Dane, the one, the only master of propaganda of YouTube, everything wondrous 1v1 owner. Vilshanka in the west, it is Miragefla. In fact, fighting for America, freedom, democracy, taking on the role here of the 5th Armored Division with armor, recon support, and infantry. Triple infantry most investors is Usem246, fighting for the German army, the Wehrmacht, Deutschland, rolling out with elite Panzer with mechanized assault, defensive doctrine, and German infantry with triple infantry there as well. We got an MD42 start here with a Propagandacast flop with double rifle start there from Miragefla. And as always, a hearty big thanks to my patron supporters, these titans, these wondrous beings, to keep me going in the business. Big thanks to all of you. You are, without a doubt, one of the primary causes we can keep doing this for so long. And other people can join those ranks as well by pledging and Patreon or just donating, so it would also make me happy. Links in the description. Or, of course, you just comment, like, share, and subscribe. That would also make me happy and keep the YouTube algorithms away. We got Pioneers with Sandbags on the car point. Miragefla with the Recon supporting up, of course, for raid tactics. INR Pathfinders, Airdrop Combat Group, MA Greyhounds, and MA3 Cluster Bombs. We got reassuring from the fuel point. Meanwhile, we got a big push in the south of Miragefla Riflemen. Basically, not expecting a pressure on the north. In fact, it's going to line up to a push on the opponent's fuel point. That would disrupt Usem246 in the early game, most likely, is possibly Miragefla's plan. Then again, you start to like grab across the white frontage, which is where the American excels anyways. And of course, while you could try and go for like a really aggressive raid on the enemy fuel point there, it is typically not what most Vanguard players will do. And if you were to, you probably would have gone for like mechanized assault or maybe Ostrom to like facilitate that. Grand Center Victor with the Grenadier. In the south, MD42 with the Hall of Forts again, expected possibly here fighting around the south. There you go, Rifleman spotted. The MD42 crew there, all setting up in a pretty bad place. As Miragefla's men quickly are maneuvering the game, M1 Duran singing out songs of freedom and lead. We got Rifle here, there, MD42 caught on some sides, but they should have chance for the Rifle perhaps. But they may want to turn to the Rifle here, which may just be a bit more exposed. I'm not one in the heavy cover though. Actually, no. Had picked the one place where they actually started out a bit more where they get suppressed. Pretty bad luck there from Rifle. Meaning that we're getting caught with infantry there. Going to be up catch Rifle here. So in a maneuver here, Usem246 with the punishing Miragefla for a few slip ups there in this attack. Thumbs up to Usem246. Less great there for Miragefla. Certainly a huge loss there. Basically 2 rifle squads routed. And he didn't even get to kill a single German. He in fact lost 2 rifle squads on top of that. 2 rifle squads, 2 riflemen, not squads. Good lord. Had he lost 2 rifle squads without killing a single one, you know, he'd probably been court-martialed by the actual United States Army. He'd just kick in the door. Freeze! US Army scum! And, you know, he'd be hauled off. And his rifle squad falling back there. Pioneer setting out. MD42 northwards. Points at big system north in Miragefla. Rifle squad moving against the Grenadiers. MD42 moving as well. MD42 hanging back here for use, but again, not worth noting, he's using MD42 actively versus Miragefla, though that was perhaps not the most active moment there. Grenadiers down to 3 men, low on health, need to retreat soon. Back here, no tech yet. Might go for 4th Grenadier squad, maybe go for mortar or sniper here versus Miragefla. Oh dear. In this case, he probably had set up a plan, but again, sometimes it can be difficult like to completely gauge where like the shrubbery is and where your machine can't find fire. So yeah, he's trying to set up again, but there we go, catch the rifle squad here, but the rifle squad here is effectively still covered. It's a bit awkward here for use. M246 is taking up as well now. Very good. Bunker going as well. They're going to use hard work digging out the place for the bunker. We got 2 victory points in control here of Usem246 versus Miragefla's 1 of Northern Region, which is the Pioneers. The Grenadiers versus the rifle squads, both low on health. Pioneers versus the echelons. Back here to reinforcing healing. Tech halfway done. Grenadiers right up north of the rifle squad. Miragefla hits hard. Tech almost done. Machine gun repositioning. Rifle squad from the north here. Ground point there with the Pioneers. Grenadiers bring back for reinforcement. Rifle squad being caught up there and straight to the MD42 in the south. Oh, the MD42 wants, we can't see an air reactive grenades from Miragefla early on. Thumbs up to that. Almost gets wiped in the MD42 and Usem246. There we go, gets it. You can't grab the MD42 and then turn against Usem246, but still pretty good work there. Most German players will never expect grenades in the early game because here's the fun fact: most American players never bother with grenades in the early game. So part of it is just the sheer shock from German players like, was ist this? Eine Granate from the Americans. I thought they were too lazy to throw things. Another grenade here. Let's effect grenade. We got more grenades on the way there for USM246. Not Panzer grenades. You'd figure go for that here maybe, but alright. Certainly making more likely he's going for German infantry versus Miragefla. Needs to retreat the lieutenant soon before he gets wiped. More Rafs going to get Recon. Lieutenant falling back rather than moving forward here. Lieutenant, I think, good chance of getting wiped here. He could have, for example, maybe increased the chance and used the smoke screen here from the Recon. There you go. Grenades here. Double grenades, M42. And force retreat here on Mirage. Or USM246 gets away. Still heavy losses here. Germans and Americans dying in droves. But in the end, Mirage secures the central point here and liberates it from the Krauts, the Panzer layer. Which is a fun fact. The name comes from the fact it was actually constituted from a series of training and replacement units across Germany. It was basically using instructors and training crews and all that to just form up an elite division. It was kind of based off a tradition before that, where typically to update, so say, the curriculum of these different training schools and whatnot, instead of pulling back veterans from the front line to the training, they'd actually do the opposite. They form up battalions of instructors and training crew all that, and send them to the front line to basically do the fighting, and then they'd be hauled back to then pass on their experiences. So that's a bit of a different way the Germans had in the Panzer division was basically using that trick there to then basically form up a permanent elite division. So little fun fact there, little fun fact. Raptor's going to use here. Raptor's turning about here. MD42 guns moving about there. Lieutenant Raptor's going north. He's got a grenade up at the northern victory point. I mean, they would also send, veteran units, infantry people, to these, training battalions. Like, part of it's all just like, they'd send, instructors and whatnot to, form up elite battalions at the front line. These known as Lehrbattalion. And the Rav squad almost wiped them out. Up north, we've got Lieutenant Rav about here. Back here, nothing further going on there from Miragefla. We do have the tech. Much here stood no soon enough here versus USM246. Was yet to choose a doctor. At this point, you'd figure you'd be seeing German infantry in particular with 4 grenadiers, but so far, USM246 has yet to tip his hand in either direction, any direction in fact. He's also yet to build the mechanized company. He's just relying heavily here on GC momentum, the Grenadiers here versus Miragefla, who has, for example, yet to go for, say, a 50 cal to help you with this, kind of strategy here, which is typically what most Americans will be doing here, but I guess Miragefla's got other plans. There you go. I do believe... No, I'm not entirely sure what's going on there. It is a bit strange, but there you go. Quick retreat here. Trouble Grenadiers, of course, forming up a significant block of German infantry. MD42 joining in. We got the Greyhound out of Miragefla. An interesting shift there. Interesting shift. Troops going back for healing enforcement. But he really would benefit from 50 covers all these Grenadiers. I'm a bit surprised we're not seeing that from Miragefla. Also, a bit weird he'd go then for, I think, for the platoon command post upgrade, when most players in this case actually go for the company command post as well. That way they'd have 50 cals and tank guns ready, and then use the Greyhounds as light vehicles, of course use the air-drop combat group for wells they might need. So, a bit of a shift, I would say, into the typical American strategy here from Miragefla when you have, say, it comes to some cases of recon support at least. Of course, not all go for this, but typically I would say tend to be one of the more typical builds if they do use the Greyhound, I think, in my opinion. And this Michigan falling back here for use. Back here, nothing further going on there. Still no sign of reduction from him. Greyhound in hot pursuit up north here. 50 cal being added. Thumbs up to that. Rob needs to push towards the copper and pick up machine gun. They also got 2 grenade squads nearby. Still no sign of upgrades here for any of his troops. Keeps running around, just upgraded grenades back here, troops reinforcing, healing. Not much going on in the Miragefla's base either. But there you go, Greyhound on the field. And of course, Hughes has no anti-tank guns, so yes, forced here by Miragefla to build the mechanized company. And he's also taking up at the same time. So he's clearly obviously going for the Pack 40, but he also is wanting to push for the fast armor here versus Miragefla. The question, of course, is what is he pushing for? What is the battle plan? Grand flying away, the Lieutenant Ralph moving up. Running from Northern Victory Points and one claimed there by the 5th Armoured Division. Back here, troops reinforcing healing. Still not much going on there. Grenade over the hedges there. Used to seem to anticipate this, slightly move the Grenadiers out of the way. And before joining in as well, very good. Pioneers was rushed up at the Northern Victory Point. Miragefla, I think, could try and also sneak in some force to hit the south through and get the fuel point there, trying to distract use. But so far none of that. Pack 40 almost done. Roughing it off here, and oh, we do have a telemine out there. We do have a telemine, and we're finally Miragefla is not a minesweepers in any way or form. Panfiles off in the Greyhound, very good there. Unless of course Miragefla, in which case that is obviously kind of bad. Gems keep pushing up northwards to the gun. Rifle squad holding up their hand-heavy cover. It is slowly being overwhelmed by the sheer numbers. As Usem246 orders more men from the Panzer to attack the position. Rifle squad's going to send it back up with the MB-42 crew there. Very good. Quick fix on the Greyhound. We need to be careful about doing it so close to the front line. He's using the critical repairs ability. He's not. In fact, because doesn't have the veterancy for it. Pretty risky there. Not much still going on the base of Miragefla. And then I go back from the Greyhound. Right as soon as the Greyhound picks us up, the Pack 40 punches a large hole into the frontal armour. No mercy there for use. No mercy. He can also soon build the Suprema Corps. Weapon racks from Miragefla, BARs, and probably some bazookas here. In fact, I imagine the bazookas are going to be the priority here. That's whatever use might be planning as Miragefla. Pack 40 keeps punching away there. Up north, we got punishment. Church occupied by a squad of grenadiers. Worth noting, still no upgrades. Still no German infantry. Cruising, I feel like he might be planning mechanized assault symbol for the Tiger tank. Which is a bit, you know, wasty, I feel like, but oh well. If use can make it work, and so far it seems he can, no, it's like, you know, and that's fair enough. Gun is right from the church, forced to evacuate. The position was untenable in the face of increasing American aggression. On the south side, the Miragefla's timing up, they're going to hit the fuel point there, force use to sort of divert there. Of course, you could try and go for a counter push to Miragefla's car front, force them direct to that. BAR's up. A Browning automatic rifle. And there we go, we got the Suprema Corps for use. Could push out fast flat pants. Could also go for Panzer for the regional pace here versus Miragefla. We should of course see what Miragefla does versus use. He could of course himself try to take up push for medium armor, but he will be behind there in use in terms of the armor race, and he will have to go for bazookas, I think. That he's going to have to go for the Captain and anti-tank guns, but that would ultimately just slow him down further in terms of armor. Versus use and the Panzer Panzer. There you go, Suprema Corps up. Panzer understood corpse. Around the point there. Bring on there, getting the grenadiers. Murdering the grenadiers. That's what the grenadiers. And before two pack folding up there. Ooh, roughing it here, and oh, nice shot there. Almost demolishing the entire gun. He's got Ralph coming against him before 2 there. Pack 4 as well. Graham hanging back. Close veteran 2. Yeah, still not much going there. He's actually equipping the BARs. Is that the mistake that Miragefla? Is there some sort of big brain, you know, 3-dimensional, even 4-dimensional chess plan here that's going on with Miragefla that we're not seeing? Because users going for Panzer 4, Miragefla currently has no anti-tank weapons to stop it. He is taking up though, but he's going to need bazookas and something. He's going to need bazookas and something. As that Panzer Force going to roll him like, you know, the Germans rolled, you know, the raw infantry divisions in the Ardennes. Another MB-4 to be considered by use, but decides he does not need it yet. More BAs out than Mirage. Like this, he does have 100 munitions open for the bazookas, but the question is, where those bazookas are going to go? Still, crucially, he's holding his opponent's fuel point. They're denying use fuel here, which is great for Mirage. He's also getting more, allowing him to push fast for the Sherman. So this is actually working out. The fact he's got really good map control now versus use. So while there's certainly some tactical issues, say with this plan strategic, he's actually managed to think outmaneuver Usem246 really nicely. So 2 thumbs up to Mirage. We've got cluster bombs here in the field point as well. Means, of course, he's definitely not getting any time bazookas soon to stop the Panzer IV, but on the other hand, he's clearly doing this to like prevent use from easily getting access to the fuel point. In this case, he somehow managed to dodge most of it quite impressively. So not just in bazookas, he basically wasted 110 munitions, which is, again, kind of impressive. Good counter move there, but Usem246 obviously requires some serious balls there to like just, you know, have his men dodge, you know, all the cluster bombs. Don't worry, Ludwig, I've done this 100 times. Really? 9, but I'm sure we can do this. Just follow me. 10 rears and running in the face of the Panzer IV, adding a pin-up machine to that. But that's it. Miragefla can soon go for Sherman here. Of course, he may, of course, try to like hold it up just a bit longer and go for the Jackson. But I think trying to go for Jackson here might be a tad too ambitious from Miragefla. But again, that's just me, and I'm certainly not Miragefla. Whilst going south, there goes Sherman Weather from Miragefla, the M43. Great versus infantry, decent versus medium armor. Obviously, the Panther 4 there has a slight edge in some ways, but again, the Sherman just packs so much more utility compared to it, and that way they easily outperforms it. Plus, it's actually cheaper. That not a lot cheaper, but you know, still 10 fuel cheaper. What you get out of the package there. The Greyhound shoots. Pioneers stand there by the church. You know, use it and really taking advantage of the shock effect of the Panther 4 to just breach through. He's also gone for sniper at this point, which is definitely a rare sight. But after in the 10 with the bazookas, going for a mortar. I actually like that idea. Good with the ability to support here. Arguably, you could actually consider the airdrop combat group. You could also go for paratroop bazookas there if necessary, but also get the pack out out. What do you think would have been a great choice as well there? So, while I definitely think that mortars is a good idea as well, I can't help but wonder if the airdrop combat group may not just have been the superior choice here for Miragefla versus use at this point. Obviously, it would take a bit longer and some other stuff, but something to consider. I was shamming up mortar out. You could actually consider a second bazooka here, a mortar team, or you could of course also go for fifth gun. That's actually the one thing that's probably surprised me a bit is Miragefla's not really bothered with a 50 caliber at all there. That's like the thing that stands up. But that said, he's absolutely beating the tar out of Usem246 Panzer 4 here. Got the pack. Panzer 4 might even get the snow. Oh no! Yes, no! No! God! Oh God! Oh God! I don't know what happened there, but I have happened to myself sometimes. Like for some reason, you misclick or something, the crew pops out, and then he's like desperately hoping to get them into the bloody tank again. That was terrible there from last part. That might just cost him the Sherman and doesn't get some troops in supporting. But good God, Sniper got away, and he might just end up losing the Sherman to this. I feel bad there from last part. I feel bad. I would have been very upset myself if that happened. I would not be surprised if Miragefla was also a bit upset about that. At least he got the Panzer 4, and technically again the Sherman is cheaper, but the way that happened just feels bad. It just feels bad. No mistake about that. That's it. He probably again should go for some more stuff. Again, either consider more infantry, or consider 50 cal, or I don't know, but something I think needs to slightly give him a last spot. Got Lampsoon for the use, and he still hasn't gone for the docked. And again, at this point, it has got, I think, got to be German or mechanized assault. Like, it's the only thing that really makes sense at this point. Then, he may actually just try to stall for a target tank heavy as Mirage for that. Going for the cop on them with the Grenadier. Back here, Rob's got good to go. Totally called in by the Major on some of the users' positions. He's going for the cop fight. Going swiftly and brutally. Got Grandare's going to use up north. Getting a nice kill. There's Ludwig. Gets a very large shot inserted into the skull. And we got the Captain on the Miragefla plus another mortar. So a bit of a shift there towards more artillery-based strategy here versus use. Probably due to the snipers, but also I think more machine guns here from the use encourages Miragefla to consider more artillery. So we can see how makes work of that. I mean, two mortars used correctly can be quite devastating. Can make it much harder for you to set up defensive positions here and just shoot out the Miragefla. So of course it'll come down to like how well Miragefla can use the mortars. Like just parks and the things that are going to do all the work for him. He's probably not going to like be as effective with them as he could be. Still, when he's quickly falling back, Gray need to be fixed up again. Captain almost done. Of course, goes some next infantry squad, and he will likely go for at least one anti-tank gun, maybe two. And yep, you see going for mechanized assault, so probably a Tiger Stall at this point. Probably a Tiger Stall, unless like Miragefla can force him into like going for something there. Of course, Miragefla's probably not expecting this, but better watch him see Tiger Stalls, and again, that might be why there's some players who are willing to go for them again. Sandbags there. Good work to ever use. Packs across the road there. Covering a main push here. Mortars being held up by Miragefla. Almost losing the Greyhound right away there. To the pack volley there from the other side of the road. And he's being hammered with the double M1 81mm mortars. North we got Captain Evers, the Pioneers. They're going to be easily routed. Snubber with it. Oh, we do see a response here from USF. He's actually going for Stug 3E. An interesting choice there. In choice, that's probably to say more chiller support in a sense, but still not what you'd typically expect to see. Stug moving forward here for use. Stug E moving forwards. Stug E behind the mortars. Basically decided to use them Stug E as an artillery counter. Now they're entering there from Miragefla. I mean, at this point, obviously, Miragefla should have a pretty good idea that his opponent's gone for Mechanized. I mean, technically, his opponent had defense as well. He could also gone for the Stug E, but realistically, no one's going to go for defense at this point of the game for Stug E, unless, like, you know, clinically insane. And this will go off troops there from the victory point. In fact, getting a nice victory point lead here for Usem246 or Miragefla. Miragefla definitely needs to like switch up his tactics a bit though. Slowly sort of trying to push back here, but let's see if this works out for him. Gunny is pushing for the mortars, and again I feel like Miragefla's lack of heavy machine guns is really proving to be a bit detrimental for him, unless again someone get a hold of their use of machine guns. Miragefla could also soon go for Sherman, he's going to go for Ground. He could also of course go for Scots, but I think that's going to be the best move. Ooh, good hit from the mortar there. Both with one kill, though one is veteran G1. I also feel like Miragefla might be focusing a bit too much on the centre here versus use rather than saying north and south here. Something I think that Use is more than happy to utilise against Miragefla. So he caught in the MD42. But easily dodged, not a big deal. Against defending the North victory point, we got 200 points, about 195 left from Miragefla versus Uses 372. Gun his machine talking about the Americans in the south center, they're also being thwarted. North side might be easier there. Again, I feel like he's focusing too much in the center. He needs to like try and draw away Use from the center first. Like he needs to bait him out of there and then make the push. That he needs to like make a really strong assault there with artillery, smoke screens, tanks, and everything. And that's like currently not what Miragefla has really set himself up for. But he can soon go for Sherman. Ooh, nice on the mortar there from the Stug E. Grand taking hits from the Pack 40s. Nice mortar hit there. We got 159 versus 372. Used very slowly going towards the Tiger tank there. DTiga. I feel like he should be focusing first on clearing out the south side and the north side, and then, you know, once he's sort of penned in, use them around the centre, and it's like him trying to take the centre from him, unless, of course, use response to the north or south side attacks. Big W push here. The lack of heavy machine feel like it's starting to bite Miragefla a bit in the ass here versus Use. Down there with ace health, 11 kills. Mortars, entertainment with precision. Guns being pushed back here. Maybe here looks like Use extended versus Miragefla. Miragefla can take advantage. There goes through getting which one is fast shot range to the right score there, causing heavy casualties. Men dying in significant numbers. Gun is routed there. Packs all being pushed back, but the riflemen are bled out. They're low in health. Sherman away with Miragefla and the 5th Armoured Division. The 10 close being wiped out here. From the south side, Major being held up here by machine gun. Could get some more support on that machine gun position. The 10 close being murdered out as well. And down he goes. A significant blow. There's Miragefla and the 5th Armoured Division. Back here, reinforcing healing to get those mortars moving. Sherman halfway done. There you go to the corner machine gun nest. Got the centre there, but he's still at 101 versus 372. He's only managed to slow down the bleeding, but he's not halted it yet. And the problem is how much can he then hold the centre anyways. I feel like tactically that assault was not great and strategically. Similarly, it didn't really make a lot of sense to attack his opponent where he's strongest with us. I would say middling attack anyways. Like, unless he's looking like destroy his opponent, I don't think the center makes a lot of sense for now. Like, should be focusing on the north and the south since probably going to defend it can maybe force use to attack into him. Which I think much better there for Miragefla. We got raid tactics, very nice ability, allows the vehicle to grab points. Thumbs up to Miragefla, using it on the Greyhound. 2 thumbs up in fact. 2 thumbs up. That's it. Well, the man's out of attack 40s here. Still got the neutral, so at least that buys him some time. Sniper with T2, that's 16 kills. Trembling into the south, of course, be careful with the pack 40s. One thing you do, of course, is just keep smoking this area, preventing use from using this as a fire base. Against Miragefla. Obviously requires a lot of management, but I still think it could be something considered there. Like, the veterans 1, the mortar cooldown is more shorter, so you could probably just use just one mortar to just constantly smoke there, making it really annoying to use. Also, these folks are splitting over the Shem from time to time. So we got 372 versus 83. Users getting very close to the target tank as Miragefla. Miragefla will go for another Shem. You may also be setting up for a Jackson tank destroyer. Then the Stoogie. Discarded until he called in here on Miragefla's positions. 5th Armored Division is definitely not having a easy time here as the Krauts. 75 points left from Miragefla versus 372 of Hughes. Made the North Pump against squad blocking the way with a light machine gun. The artillery called in a cluster bomb specifically in the pack and the MG42. Could do some damage there. And the MG42 crew gets annihilated. The sniper assault in fact dies as well. That's a good strike to Miragefla, though not quite enough. Users now a minute away from the target tank here. Miragefla, well, is 7 minutes away from the Jackson tank, which I think can miss with the target tank. Gremlin for the center, almost getting knocked out again. Sherman being fixed up, ground unit fixing, troops reinforcing healing. Miragefla needs to get swiftly back on the field though. There's the Krauts. This user certainly, well, he's also taking himself a nice time, but he's got a bigger victory point, needs to sort of more efficiently get away with it. And he's similarly also getting to the target tank out here versus Miragefla. Also, fun fact, Dunkelgrau here is used here by users actually technically historically inaccurate at this point in the war. They were using either Dunkelgelb in early 1944 or late 45 would have been, or late 44 to 45 were using Dunkelgrün, dark green as sort of the base color. Fun fact there. Another wipe there in the Miragefla. The situation is starting to get a bit pointed there. As using the Salmon's 4th aid target tank here from the Panzerlehr's Funklein Abteilung as the Panzerlehr Panzer Division. They technically have a company's worth of target tanks attached to it, but they're technically part of a radio control unit meant to control Goliaths, but they were probably just used as regular target tanks for the most part. Also, they had one Tiger 2 or King Tiger with the early model turret. Fun fact. Grand was the Grenadiers. Sherman halfway down the Miragefla. Sniper turns 7 kills. Shoots misses, maybe falling for the side of the victim. Got 40 versus 72.
Krauts are taking one of our points.
Miragefla stabilizing here versus use. But only I would say a bit, and even then it's looking like a pretty weak stabilization. Pretty weak. Going for the MG42 there. He's advancing. Mortar there finally. Got the raid tactics once more here. It's quickly wearing off. Shem falling back. You might have hoped that actually applied to the Shem, only applies to light vehicles, unfortunately. Like other builds of this version, which actually apply also to tanks, the one on raid tactics does not work. And so there you go, push with the Sherman there, and tanks knocking up patient as infantry. So, while I like the idea, but I don't think it's in theory a good move. It falls a bit apart due to the execution not quite being as good as it could be. Unfortunately, for Mirage. Loses the ground here. He does lock down to the Tiger tank, do the tank to lose. Bitches start to catch up here against the Tiger tank, unfortunately for Miragefla. He's down to 11 points. 8 points left. Stoogie down. In fact, he's almost like really done some serious damage here to Usem246, but the problem is by now it doesn't matter. He's run out of victory points. So there you go, GG, game over. A loss for Miragefla, a victory for Usem246. A nice little fight here on Vilshanka. Miragefla, I think, had some nice ideas, but I think the lack of machine guns at the time, I think too heavy emphasis on the centre victory point around the north and the south proved to be, detrimental for him. So even while he in the late game really made some good pushes, in the end it didn't matter because he couldn't really give much further with the dudes running out of victory points. So there you go. Hope you enjoyed this episode. Subscribe, like, share, comment, all that jazz. This is Imperial signing off, and thank you for joining in. You're all a wonderful audience. Cheers, everyone.